WTOL TV, Toledo. Straight from the newsroom, this is Toledo 11 News.
Welcome into another edition of the WTOL 11 Vault on Plus. It's a show where we take a trip back in time. I'm Dan Cummins. We open the vault digging through our archives and bring you some of the best reporting over the years. Today we're heading out on the town with a few twists and turns.
Well, you know, if there's a scary ride at an amusement park, I'm going to find it. And here at Fun Spot, it's called the Afterburner. This vintage roller coaster originally sat at the old baseball and boardwalk in Haines City, Florida. There's something that makes this ride memorable.
And it's a mission to preserve the past for future generations. A trip back in time to a unique collection you couldn't see anywhere else.
We have probably 7 or 8 vehicles that we would believe are only existing survivors in the world.
Take a walk through the Victory Museum and you realize this is all about preservation for tomorrow's generation. The museum is believed to be the world's largest collection of World War II vehicles.
And if you joined us on the WTOL 11 Vault before, you know we love to look back in time. But this time, we're headed way back.
Iguanodon. Time, early Cretaceous. Location, Europe and North America.
And it's here you'll find yourself in the middle of a dinosaur adventure. Your trip through time takes you into a 10-acre forest, face to face with creatures that once roamed the planet. Mystery Hill and the prehistoric forest have been popular tourist stops in Ottawa County for 50 years.
The Daytrippin series began with reporter Dick Berry on August 20th, 1996. It showcased some attractions you could enjoy without missing a night at home. His first trip, Maumee Bay State Park. His adventures continued to where we find ourselves today, July 5th, 2004. We're heading to Little Pioneers Homestead at Sauter Village in Archbold.
The Little Pioneers Homestead is considered a please touch area at Sauter Village in Archbold. Come on inside Marianne's cabin and you'll find out why.
Would you help me stir the soup?
It's a pretend soup, but kids are encouraged to cook over a pretend fireplace to learn about rural 19th century life in Northwest Ohio.
We really encourage parents to come and play with their kids. It's not an area where where the kids get dropped off, but it's a place for families to be together and to learn together.
That's why Jennifer Cobb brought her kids to the homestead. This area is called the Children's Garden. The lesson here, how things grow. Kids are encouraged to pick a flower or touch and smell the herbs.
Well, agriculture is a big part of Ohio, and it's just a very big industry. And without it, I think a lot of things would fold up.
At the Miller Barn, you can milk a pretend cow that gives pretend milk. You can also collect eggs, just like they do on a real farm.
It would be fun, because you'd have to work, and I like working.
Now, everybody's more than welcome to visit Little Pioneer Homestead, but something you have to keep in mind, this whole area was designed specifically for kids up to 8 years old. Still, anyone can have fun in the past at the Sauter Village Little Pioneers Homestead.
From there, it's on to a spot in Indiana. Fun Spot Amusement Park and Zoo, to be exact. Though it closed its doors in 2008, it was a staple of family entertainment since its grand opening in 1956. As Dick Berry found out, it had one ride that made it a memorable day trip.
Fun Spot is an old-fashioned amusement park with old-fashioned values and very affordable prices. There's really no thrill rides here. Instead, rides considered vintage, like the flying scooters.
I thought it was sort of scary, and we went really high, and Taylor freaked out.
The flying scooters ride is vintage because it dates back to the early 1900s. The transmission comes from a World War II battleship.
And they're making a revival. The company is now making them, putting them out, and a lot of the amusement parks are buying flying scooter rides because you get to control it by just moving your sail.
Well, you know, if there's a scary ride at an amusement park, I'm going to find it. And here at Fun Spot, it's called the Afterburner. This vintage roller coaster originally sat at the old baseball and boardwalk in Haines City, Florida. There's something that makes this ride memorable.
The loop.
You do that loop not once, but twice, because after you reach the end of the track, you shoot backwards. back up where you started.
It's awesome. It was really scary. Look at my hair. It was cool. It was scary.
Fun Spot is more than just rides. There's a go-kart track, bumper cars to drive. You can even cool off at a big water park. There's a zoo here too, featuring tigers, lions, and deer. One word describes your day.
Fun. Fun.
Which probably explains why it's called the Fun Spot Amusement Park.
Staying in Indiana, we're turning all the way back to 1944, D-Day. 60 years later, the World War II Victory Museum at the American Heritage Village welcomed eager visitors, and they, along with Dick Berry, were greeted by many of the actual vehicles used by American forces in the liberation of Europe.
Lots of renewed interest this summer in World War II. A memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C., and it's also the 60th anniversary of D-Day. That's why we're day tripping to the World War II Victory Museum in Auburn, Indiana.
Well, we have about 150 plus vehicles here from the war, and we have a lot of extremely rare vehicles. And in fact, in those rare vehicles, we have probably 7 or 8 vehicles that we would believe are only existing survivors in the world.
Take a walk through the Victory Museum and you realize this is all about preservation for tomorrow's generation. The museum is believed to be the world's largest collection of World War II vehicles. The museum depicts the victorious march of the Allies from North Africa to Berlin, a tribute to the liberation of Europe.
For an event that's so important even to this day, 60 years later, for our individual and national lives, it's really important that we spread knowledge about what happened. 400,000 young Americans were cut down in the prime of their lives, never really had a chance to lead a life, and that it's our obligation now to those men that secured our freedom to go out and live a rewarding and full life.
The World War II Victory Museum, living proof that freedom did come at a price.
From there, it's back to Northwest Ohio for one of the last stops of the 2004 Daytrippin series. We're talking about a place many of us might remember in Marblehead, the prehistoric Forest and Mystery Hill. Sadly, the prehistoric Forest and Mystery Hill attraction closed in 2010, but the unique attraction helped generations of families and Dick Berry make wonderful memories.
Mystery Hill in Marblehead defies the laws of nature and gravity.
I just thought it was neat.
It's dizzy.
Check out what happens when I try to walk through. Some kind of force pulls you in the opposite direction that you want to go. It's weird.
And it's a mystery. I guess that's why they call it Mystery Hill, right?
Look closely and you'll see the water here runs uphill. A tennis ball slowly rolls uphill too. And how's this for a balancing act? A chair clinging to a wall that doesn't tip over when you sit in it. So what's the secret to Mystery Hill?
It's a mystery. If we told you guys it wouldn't be Mystery Hill then, would it?
Let's take a break from trying to figure out Mystery Hill and head over to the prehistoric forest.
Iguanodon. Time, early Cretaceous. Location, Europe and North America.
And it's here you'll find yourself in the middle of a dinosaur adventure. Your trip through time takes you into a 10-acre forest, face to face with creatures that once roamed the planet. Mystery Hill and the prehistoric forest have been popular tourist stops in Ottawa County for 50 years. A new owner came in recently and freshened up both attractions.
Oh yeah, we get grandparents bringing the grandkids. Grandkids been here several times with the parents, and now the grandparents bring them in. A lot of repeat business.
And a day trip and adventure that's part Jurassic Park and part mystery.
The 2004 Daytrippin series wrapped up on Ohio's north coast. Dick Berry headed to Harbor Light Landing, a special spot that featured pier-style boardwalks reminiscent of a seaside New England village, complete with shopping destinations and restaurants. A unique experience close to home.
Harbor Light Landing makes you feel as though you're in a New England fishing village. You're actually, though, on Ohio's north coast in Catawba. There's a 3-acre lake surrounding a half-mile-long boardwalk. But you're here for the shopping, more than 20 stores and 3 restaurants.
Well, it's beachfront shopping, boardwalk shopping like on the East Coast. Unique shops that you don't see in malls or anywhere else. It's just a lot of fun, you know, it's like a different world.
Like the chocolate shop, there's more than 100 kinds of chocolates here in addition to roasted coffees, desserts, sandwiches, and soups. all in a cozy bistro setting.
This is a great place to visit, to socialize, to bring your family and have a good time.
The Island Surf Shop is a sun lover's dream. Hundreds of name brand bathing suits and wraps, not to mention designer apparel and cruise wear. But surfing on Lake Erie?
Yes, you can. There's a lot of big waves out there on that lake sometimes.
At Great Lakes Popcorn, there's 30 spicy and sweet flavors of popcorn. They say they've got the world's best popcorn here. You'll never believe some of the flavors and aromas floating around this shop.
We had one of our staff likes margaritas and said she wished we had a margarita flavored popcorn. Next thing we know, we have a margarita flavored popcorn.
Harbor Light Landing in Catawba, a shopping experience for our area that's fun, charming, and original.
Well, that'll do it for this week's trip through the WTOL 11 vault. We hope you enjoyed our look back at Daytrippin and maybe brought you back to some happy times. This has been the Vault on WTOL 11 Plus. I'm Dan Cummins. Take care.
Can you help me stir the soup?
We have about 150 plus vehicles here from the war, and we have a lot of extremely rare vehicles.
First pulls you in the opposite direction that you want to go. It's weird. And it's a mystery. They say they've got the world's best popcorn here. You'll never believe some of the flavors and aromas floating around this shop. Well, you know, if there's a scary ride at an amusement park, I'm gonna find it. And here at Fun Spot, it's called the Afterburner. Daytrippin in Archbold, in Angola, Indiana, and in Auburn, Indiana, I'm Dick Berry. Daytrippin in Catawba, I'm Dick Berry, News 11.